another episode of The Man Space. Coach Kunle and I are absolutely delighted and honored to week after week bring different gentlemen from different walks of life to share their thoughts, their experiences, so that we truly build a community of men that are supportive of one another, especially at a time where men do not get the opportunity to share their thoughts, share their feelings, and engage. Because boys are raised to believe that don't talk, don't feel, suck it up and deal with it. You got to be a man. And all of these things create a environment where men don't have the tools to deal with challenges as life happens. And we're no longer in the hunter-gatherer world. We are in a modern world where we need to be able to deal with all these things. And so as we think about this, I am delighted for Kunle to share our guests today and kick off this conversation. Take it away, Coach Kunle.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cass. And it's such a wonderful thing to be here again today. And like you said, we have a wonderful guest, a young man from Nigeria who is with us today. He is a mental health and suicide prevention advocate, a lawyer, and a project management expert who has done so well in the space in Nigeria and beyond. And we are going to kickstart a very interesting and pertinent conversation about mental health and suicide prevention among men and then the general populace, what can be done. He is Dare Asobele from Nigeria, and it's such a pleasure to have him here. Dare, how are you doing? Welcome.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
I want you to kickstart this by giving us, some of the things that you feel are important for us to understand about the advocacy of mental health, first and foremost. And I will also want you to a little bit tilt it towards the angle of our men in the society, because research has shown that, the withdrawal about mental health is more pronounced when it comes to men, based on the social construct that had been in place over a long period of time. Dare.
Yes, I think before we even get into the conversation, we need to even understand what mental health is. I'm sure everyone listening to this understands what mental health is, which has to do with the mind, how we handle the normal stresses of life. It's also important for everybody to know that we have physical health, right? There's the physical health, there's also the mental health. So first of all, every 40 seconds, someone takes their life globally. So every year you have 800,000 people dying by suicide. In Nigeria, we're over 200 million. We barely have up to 1,000 registered mental health professionals. So what that even means is that even if we had 1,000, one person has to attend to about 200,000 people, which is crazy. And then when you now look at the situation with men, as men, there are so many societal and cultural factors that play a significant role, right? Because, women, there's so much pressure, right? The pressure to conform to, traditional gender roles, which can easily discourage some of us, in fact, most men, from wanting to share or even wanting to seek help, right? Because as a man, if you seek help, you're seen as weak, you're seen as a weakling, basically. Which is one of the reasons why I decided to go into that space since 2017, because even me personally, I used to be suicidal and depressed. Being able to come out of it, I didn't think it was something that was going to get to the level that it has gotten to. And, running so many, physical and virtual support groups and helping so many people along the way has truly been remarkable. And also being able to encourage and inspire other people to start. And, just I like the fact that you're able to let people know that I'm a lawyer, I studied law, a project manager. So you don't need to be a mental health professional to be able to start, right? But you can start and as well work out with mental health professionals as well, and just creating that enabling environment for people.
That is absolutely powerful what you're doing, Dare. What is coming up for me is, how did you go into law school and get into law and then see the need in the mental health space? And while you're practicing law, you're also doing mental health advocacy and suicide prevention. What in your personal journey brought you to this place? Because it has to be something personal.
Yeah, it was something personal, right? So I used to be suicidal and depressed in 2017, wanted to end it all. This is the purpose of life. So I'm a Christian, I believe in God. And, just being able to come out of it. If you told me I was going to be doing so many things that I'm doing right now, I would have laughed at you that, oh, it's impossible, right? That I never saw it, happening now. But just being able to start, right? Because I was confused. Oh, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. How do I go on? And I started calling people online, and then Mr. Tunji, who is now based in the UK, is also he's a therapist. While he was in Nigeria, I said, you know what? I'm going to give you a chance. And then we had a physical support group. And I created a WhatsApp group, and in less than 6 hours, over 200 people joined that group. And everyone just started sharing their issues. And then I knew that, wow, there's a lot of work to be done. Started partnering with other mental health professionals, local and abroad, and just seeing how on my birthdays every year, I get messages from different people from different parts of the world saying, thank you so much. Your platform was able to help me. I felt like killing myself, and they are doing so well. And in turn, even support the organization because they've seen that transformation in their life over the years has truly been remarkable.
That is absolutely fantastic. And going by what you said, that the period you got into that space, that was the same year I got into this space too. And that is highly remarkable. And I really want you to speak to, the major barriers that, we experience. I have created conversations about mental health in different parts of the world, and I begin to see that there are common denominators when it comes to barriers, about people coming out to talk about, their experience, even most especially men to open up about their emotions. I want you to speak to all these barriers and also profile some solution and make us understand what we need to do as a society so that, everybody will be free to come speak about whatever they are going through and find help. Darren.
Yeah, so the truth is that there's so much barrier in the mental health space, right? And I'm just going to talk about holistically, right? There's stigma in my country, especially in Africa. I don't know how it is most places. There's a spiritual part. A lot of people feel like, if you have mental health issues, it means you are possessed, there are demons. There's also the stigma as to how people that have mental health issues are treated. You have situations where they are chained, right? They are beating, all those traditional methods. I know like Mr. Kunle would also be able to talk on that or even testify to all of those things. And there's also the reluctance to seek help. So we have a WhatsApp forum that is called Asad Forum. And there was a time where we added someone to the forum. I started shouting on the group, oh, I'm not mad, I'm not crazy, because she just felt like because it was a mental health forum, it meant that, she was crazy or something was wrong with her. And you really be surprised. There's so much lack of awareness. A lot of people are not aware. And I must confess myself, I didn't know more about mental health until late 2016. When, before 2016, I didn't really know much about the space. There was someone that told me she was depressed, and I started laughing at her. And looking back, I was speaking from a place of ignorance. So there's still lack of awareness in the space. You will really be surprised. A lot of people that don't have access to social media and all of those things don't know about these things. There's also still limited support networks. There are not a lot of support networks that people can be able to go to that give confidentiality, which is also a very serious issue that people are dealing with. Also, workplace culture. In my country, a lot of people have abused mental health, where when you say you have mental health issue, people see it as, oh, this person is using it as an excuse to be lazy. There's also the financial constraint. Not everyone can afford therapy, right? Not everyone feels the need to be able to pay for therapy. And then you also have issues where there's also not funding for organizations that are doing the work, right? So for me, I just would use whatever I have to see how I can be able to help people. And then also there's the cultural, ethnic differences, right? People coming from different backgrounds, and there are different approaches to address these issues. And then speaking about solutions, a couple of solutions that we've been applying, and I'm also encouraging anyone listening to this to also apply is, let's have more conversations like this. This is a form of mental health awareness, right? More conversations like this. Let's have open conversations, whether it's virtual or physical. You could give your space, create safe space for people to speak. Provide accessible resources, right? Online, you could, watch videos on YouTube. You could go for mental health trainings now, pay for some of these sessions, right? I had to pay for classes to learn more, right? I had to invest money to be able to learn, right? So that I can be able to learn techniques and all of those things. Also, for those in the workplace, where depending on wherever you are, implement workplace programs, right? Mental health trainings from time to time can really go a long way. Offer financial support to organizations doing the work. Please support ASAD. You can check us out on our social media platform, www.asas.com.ng, our Instagram platforms as well. You can support us financially. You could also support us with your time. Trust me, the opportunity to have people that are willing to sacrifice their time without being paid to help other people does go a long way, right? So we have mental health first aiders, which is a free service we offer people. You are trained, you know how to talk to people, how to calm people down, would really go a long way. You could also just offer, peer support, right? Just, being able to talk to people, let people feel comfortable talking to you. A lot of times we've seen situations where people feel like, oh, someone takes their life and you're like, how come I didn't know this? How did I miss it? Why didn't this person talk to me? There are certain techniques, there are certain steps that you need to be able to pay attention when someone is dealing with something, right? So it's about creating that enabling environment to people. And then the last thing I'll talk about in terms of solution is tailor approaches to diverse groups. Oftentimes what we've seen is that what works for A might be different from what works for B, but just being able to create that buffet of mental health solutions basically would also go a long way as well. So yeah, those are some of the solutions that I would suggest.
Appreciate that deep insight, Dare.
Yeah.
As I am listening to you, I'm realizing, and I've experienced this as a woman in a profession that is a man's world in international finance. It's very lonely at the top for anybody, but it is lonelier for men because men don't socialize in the way women socialize.
Yeah.
And we live in a society where we don't approach life holistically because we each have a heart, mind, body, and a spirit. Holistic wellness is not just physical, and life is not just individual success. So we've created this false bifurcation of it's you, your body, and your success. And we've taken all the elements that make us whole. Research shows that the love hormone is oxytocin, and what secretes that is a 20-second hug. And we each need 10, 20-second hugs a day. Women can do this all day. They see each other, they hug. They see a child, they hug. Men don't do that. Men slap each other on the back. Men just nod their head. And even when they talk, they're doing other things while talking because they don't want to be seen as confiding. What are some of the things we can do to normalize the basic human needs and meeting those needs for men without teaching boys and men that if you do that, you're not a real man? Because that's the root of all problems.
Yes, I mean, thank you so much for talking about this, right? Especially in Nigerian culture, growing up, I would even speak for myself, right? Growing up, it wasn't a case where my dad would hug me or say all of these things. And I'm sure a lot of us in Africa had to deal with this where we're not used to all of those laws. But the truth is, I can't expect him to give me what he never received. So you have a situation where this tradition is being passed down as a baton to the next generation, right? So in terms of being able to change this mindset, I'm really grateful for the opportunity because even in this space, being able to have other men that have gone through this, me sharing my story, hoping that other men that watch this are really inspired and encouraged does go a long way so that they can be able to know that, oh, if Dare is doing this, I can do this, right? And so many other men that you invite to this show can just let them know that it's possible. Also being able to create mental health support group, right? Support groups for men, which is something I started focusing on. Like this month, we're going to have a session for men to just, do poetry, right? And next month, just focus on men for the rest of the year. The only time we celebrate men here, I don't know if it's the same thing globally, is June, Father's Day. That's just it. After June, nobody cares about men anymore. So being able to have this platform, just like you shared, if we have more documentaries, because movies have a way of influencing people's mind. Just talking about watching movies that speak around mental health will really go a long way. Just like I shared earlier on, if more companies are having men-related mental health conversations, and people are able to learn, like, oh, as a man, it's okay to share feelings. Because the truth is that one of the reasons why some people don't feel comfortable sharing is, like I said, stigma. You know, when you share, they're like, oh, as a man, why you acting like a woman, right? Why are you doing that? Like, it's not something you're supposed to do. You can't be showing weakness. You can't be crying. You still have to get up there and, go and provide for your family, right? My country right now, Nigeria, there's a lot going on economically. And so there's so much burden on men to be able to, deliver. So yes, education as well. Let's have educational systems encouraging men, talking about it in schools. Also, a lot of people don't know this, but the food that we eat also has a way of affecting us, right? What we eat has a way of affecting our mental health. And also socializing. I mean, we're in the age of social media now. So every time everyone is on their phone, um, you know, it's been a while people go out to network. Some people still do it, and especially ever since COVID, right? Everything has just been remote, which is also good. It has its benefits and disadvantages. So I would say, let's have social connection, community engagement. Let's go out for events. Those are things that really go a long way, and let people feel comfortable sharing, right? So if we are able to have more platforms as well, social media platforms, it'll really go a long way to help people feel like, you know what, I can share my feelings and I will not be judged. And I know that there are amazing people out there that are also willing to help as well. So, yeah.
Wow, that's so insightful, Dari. Absolutely, very, very spot on. I mean, you really shed light to so many things that will help a lot of men and even our society as a whole, whereby people, I mean, men will not feel like they dropped the ball whenever they share their mental health related story. As we begin to wrap up, I want you to let people know how they can reach out to you personally. And then maybe you can still, I think you mentioned it earlier on, you can still mention it again how people can also reach out to your organization, your website, your handles, and every other way you want them to.
Okay, so you can reach out to me on +234 708 775 9673. So that's my personal WhatsApp number. You can send me a WhatsApp message. You could also check us out on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter at Anti-Suicide and Depression Squad. So once you type Anti-Suicide and Depression Squad, you'll see us, as well as our website at www.asad.com.ng as well. So you could also click the link in the bio on Instagram to join the Telegram community. At the moment, we have over 700 people on that community as well. We have a free mental health training that we're looking at finance this coming Sunday. You could sign up for it. We have so many free events just to educate people as well. We also have mental health first aiders that you could reach out to for free, just to be able to help people regardless of whichever country they are coming from as well. So yes.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing all of those resources, Terry. And please keep in mind that this is not a one conversation and done. We're truly building a safe place and a space for men. And to the extent we can participate, we can add value, we can bring people together, please think of us as a partner and resource, because this is something we're in together. And it is going to take good women to stand up, stand by men to break this cycle, just like women's empowerment needs male allyship who will stand up and make the success of women possible, right? So women allyship is necessary in this journey because we are the mothers, the daughters, the sisters, the wives, the grandmothers. And we are the ones raising boys. So getting the women involved is necessary. And please feel free to bring us into the picture. And as we bring this to a close, if there was one piece of advice you can leave for the world in terms of protecting and preserving the overall mental health of everybody, and especially men, because what happens to men directly correlates to the social impact, right?
Yeah.
What advice would you have?
I would say the mind is very powerful, right? What you can think is very, very possible. Please do not give up. Like there's a reason why you were here this time, this season. Don't give up. Find a way to add value wherever you find yourself. I know the world might be hard, but please do not give up. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Please do not give up.
Thank you so much, Dari, and thank you so much, Coach Kunle. This is always a delightful experience, and you and I thoroughly enjoy this in a deeply meaningful way. And Dari, it has been an honor. Welcome to the ManSpace community, and we appreciate the insights you have shared. We know it is going to make a difference in the lives of our audience, both men and women, because women are raising sons, and we want them to get these insights to raise their sons in a more mindful way. And to our audience out there, don't ever for a moment believe that you have to do this alone. As humans, we were never meant to take this journey alone. Do you know this determination of is there a civilization is truly looking at does the being have healed bones? In every other species, when bones are broken, they become food for their predators, except in the human form, because somebody stays with the hurt person and heals them, nurtures them back to health. That is the definition of is there a human civilization or not? Otherwise, we would have been like every other animal kingdom, right? So the very essence of our species and our civilization is predicated on that community and caregiving and caring. So let's not forget that. Let's take that into everyday life and show up for each other, hold space for each other, and make sure we make this work for us, because in the end, we are each only sustaining our lives and the lives of our loved ones.